With any test, you need to set the project in place. It's not just a question of talking it through and then actually actioning it on Monday morning. You need to make sure that you've got all the resources there, make sure you've got the rotas in place, staff rota, because quite often you can't have a test using the same people day in, day out. So you need to put a rota in place. Testing also involves letting your customers know, because they might need to be redirected to the work area recovery centre, as well as your couriers and this sort of thing. So all this information, the project plan, etc., all this field work you need to have in place and signed off before you actually go into a testing environment. Once the test is over, really you should be looking at around 10 days to conduct the post-mortem to see what went well, what went wrong. It's not a blame and shame exercise. It's more about, can we improve what we've just done? Can we improve on it? That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Most of my tests in my career have been regulatory driven, so that means at least once a year, sustaining a live test. Typically, most of the companies I've worked for, we've pushed for two test dates per annum. And we've gone from 5 days to 10 days in that live test environment. So it's very mature. I think you need to have a thorough understanding about what's out there, what's available, the type of methodologies, the approach, the type of framework. Whilst these things can be tailor-made to suit your organisation, you need to look at the Institute's methodology, the Institute's approach. There's no harm in taking this to the regulator either, because they will help you set it up. If you don't have a BCP plan, for example, the regulator will provide you with one. I wouldn't say it's 150%, but it certainly would help you get started on that program. And of course, certainly in the financial service industry, you can't do anything without the regulatory approval. So, my main advice would be that don't just take a haphazard approach to this. Do your field work first, do your research first. Take what you think is best for you, perhaps from standards, as we have in Singapore. We have many standards in Singapore. And speak with the regulators. Regulators are nice people. They're our friends. So that would be my initial thoughts on putting this together. I would like to say that there is often an important element missing when people do or companies implement business continuity management, and that is the risk assessment. People need to understand and take the training that's available by the Institute to understand why we need to do a risk assessment, for example, which is one of the first building blocks in business continuity. From the risk assessment, we get a list of threats. We can build our scenarios from those threats. We can use those scenarios to the business when we're doing our business impact analysis. So let's make sure we do our risk assessments.